Good morning from Taiwan. It's a little bit hard to say good morning right now with what's been going on in Israel, but we still do our best to keep on going. This has been a challenging Simchat Torah to try and celebrate our religion, our tradition, our heritage, our peoplehood, and simcha, and happiness when our brothers and sisters are suffering to such a great extent. And on my way to shul for Simchat Torah for the evening, I was really contemplating, what should we do? Do we celebrate? Do we dance with the Torah? Do we simply pray for the safety and security of our people? And I wasn't sure how my congregation would react with whatever choice I made, since I'm a new rabbi here, just going on a little bit over 3 months now. But I was reminded of a story about, for those of us who remember the Gulf War, Operation Desert Storm. I was in middle school at the time, but it's still in my memory. It's when CNN first really made it big and was covering the war 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And when Saddam Hussein started shooting off Scud missiles, some into Israel, we were all terrified that they might contain chemical warheads. And so there was a lot of fear at that time about what might happen to all of us and our people in Israel if Saddam Hussein actually used chemical warheads and shot them into Israel. When the Scuds were going overhead, it was at a Breslov yeshiva, I'm not sure which one. It was at a Breslov yeshiva, and the Bochrim, the students, went up to the Rebbe, to the rabbi there, the Rosh Yeshiva, the head of the Jewish Academy, and asked him, they said, Rebbe, we have Scuds going overhead. What should we do? Do we run to the shelters? Do we start praying? Do we say Tehillim? Do we say Psalms? What do we do? And he spoke to them in Yiddish, and he said, Vermachen sich de gemoeders, ga auf den Tisch, and makkelijk. What that means is close your Talmuds, quit studying, close your Talmuds, go up onto the roof of the building, and start dancing. And so as the Scuds were going overhead, flying overhead, nobody knew how dangerous they were. The Hasidim were dancing on the roof. And I thought about that. It's always, it's a cute story, but there's a lot deeper meaning to it. That dance, under the threat of missiles, of chemical warheads, was a protest against the threat to Jewish peoplehood. These yeshiva kids, not the biggest physical fighters, and there's not really anything they could physically do to stop a warhead from a Scud missile. But what they could do is show Saddam Hussein that they're not going to let him have any sort of victory over their Jewishhood, over their happiness, over their pride, over their connection to their heritage. And recalling this story helped me make a decision what to do in my shul for Simchat Torah. While us here in Taiwan, there's not a lot physically we could do at that point to help save lives in Israel. But we could make sure that we didn't let Hamas have a small victory here thousands of miles away in Taiwan. And that small victory would be not dancing with our Torah, not connecting to our tradition, not taking pride in who we are. That's what they want. They didn't want us to dance. Hamas would not want us to dance. So to show them that even over here, thousands of miles away in Taiwan, when we all have families and friends in Israel, we're still going to connect to our tradition in protest and fighting Hamas. None of us could go over to Israel and fight. Not at that point. But we could do our fight here. Not a physical fight, but an ideological fight, a spiritual fight, wage cultural war. Not just that we connect to Judaism, that we won't tolerate this kind of violence, this kind of hate. And no matter what they do, they will not disconnect us from each other and from our tradition. I'm not sure how every rabbi across the world, what decision they sort of made, or what sort of thought process they went through to figure out what would be the right and appropriate thing to do on Simchat Torah. But that is what we did. And we dedicated our dancing and our prayers and our singing and our connection to the Torah to our people in Israel. I'm not really used to making videos like this. In fact, this is my first one. Even though I have Facebook, I've only been on Instagram for a couple of months since I got to Taiwan, and I've never been able to get into Twitter. But I thought at this important time, it was crucial for my community's voice to be heard and to connect with the global Jewish community at a time like this, to show our solidarity. And not just the global Jewish community, but the global community of humanity. Those of us who say that this kind of violence, this kind of cruelty cannot happen anymore. I'd be interested to know how your community, your rabbi decided to walk this line of concern, this line of mourning, and this line of joy on the other side, of simcha, of celebration of our Torah, of mourning the loss of what was happening, while celebrating the fact that we just went through another year as a people, reading our Torah and finishing another cycle and connecting to our Torah. So if you'd like to share somehow what your community did, what your rabbi did, or if you were a rabbi, your thoughts, I would love to hear them. Of course, we have to conclude with Am Yisrael Chai. The nation of Israel is alive, it will continue to live, and we will not stand for this.